Hello everyone and welcome to today's question of the day from the actual IPMAT Indore 2024 paper QA MCQ section. Well, today's question is from SI and CI chapter. So what we'll do is we'll read the question, understand whether I should have solved this question in the first round or whether I should have done it in the second round, and then go ahead and see how actually I could have solved this question. So let's read the question and understand what needs to be done. Sagarika divides her savings of 10,000 rupees to invest across two schemes A and B. A offers an interest rate of 10% per annum compounded half yearly. Okay, so 10% per annum compounded half yearly, so it will be 5% for each of the half year. While scheme B offers a simple interest rate of 12% per annum. If at the end of the year, the value of her investment in scheme B exceeds the value of her investment in scheme A by 2,310 rupees, then the total interest in rupees earned by Sagarika during the first year of investment is how much? Alright, so when I read this, I figure out that the principals for each of the schemes are not given. So we'll have to assume some variables for those. Then we'll have to write equations for the amount that we'll have at the end of 1 year in each of the schemes, and their difference is equal to 2,310 rupees. Also, we have 10% per annum compounded half yearly, so which comes to 5%, which is not a very convenient number given that we have to compound it for 2 periods. Further, we've been asked to find the interest earned in the first year. Clearly, this is a type B question for me. I realize what needs to be done in this question, but I figure out that it's too lengthy to go about it in the first round. I'll first look for easier questions in my paper and then come back to this question if I have time left at the end of my QA MCQ section. Alright, now if at all I have time left and I decide to solve this question in the paper, how would I go about it? Alright, so we are given the total amount, the total principal invested was 10,000 rupees. Let us say A was invested in scheme A, that is compound interest, and B rupees were invested in scheme B. Therefore, I can say A plus B is equal to 10,000. Further, we also know we are getting compound interest in the first scheme for 2 periods with 5% that I'll be earning in each period, right? Because 10% per annum, so 5% half yearly. So using the formula of compound interest, I would say that the amount would be equal to principal into 1 plus 5 by 100 raised to the power n. Here the number of periods would be 2. This 10 has been obtained as 10 divided by 2, right? So 5 by 100 is 0.05. 1 plus 0.05, I'll say the principal that we had used was A, and 1 plus 0.05, that is 1.05, the whole square. I know squares of numbers ending in 5, so I'll say this would come out to be A into 1.1025. 10 and a 5, so basically it will have a 25 at the end, and 10 into the next number, that is 11, gives me 110. And further I balance the decimal places, so I'll have 4 digits after the decimal. So that's why 1.05 the whole square would be 1.1025. This would be the amount under compound interest. What about the amount under simple interest? Well, it's a simple 12% increase. So it will be principal plus 12%. I can simply say that will be 1.12 times the principal. So amount under CI amount under CI is this, and amount under SI would be simply 1.12 times the principal, that was B. Now I'll erase this working, and the equation that I need to write is 1.12 times B minus 1.1025. So 1.1025 times B should be equal to the difference that was given to us in the question, that is 2310. So this is the second equation that we have, and the first equation that we had was this. There are 2 variables and 2 equations involved. If we solve them, we should be able to get the values of A and B, and hence we should be able to calculate the interests and get to the answer. So I'll erase the working that I had done earlier, and I'll come to the solving of these equations. So to solve this equation, what I'll do is I'll multiply. So eliminating B is an easier job, right? So what I'll do is I'll simply multiply the first equation by 1.12. So this would become 1.12a plus 1.12 times b, and that would be equal to 10,000 into 1.12. It will become 11200, multiplying throughout by 1.12. Now this becomes my equation number 3. Solving the last two equations simultaneously, if I take the difference, b and b will get eliminated. Okay, the equation 3 has a bigger number, so I'm doing equation 3 minus equation 2. So 11,200 minus 2310, that gives me 8890, and on the LHS 1.12b and 1.12b gets cancelled. From 1.12a, if I subtract negative 1.1025, the two numbers will get added. So that will become 1 plus 1, 2.12 and 1025. So 1200 plus 1025, that will give me 2225a. And this is equal to 8890. Therefore, a would be equal to 8890 divided by 2.2225. Okay, so let me just check. 22 into 4 is 88. Just let me check if I multiply this number denominator by 4, do I get to 889 or something related? So 2, 4 2s and a 5 into 4. What will that give me? 25 into 4, 100. 1 in the carry. 22 into 4, 88 plus 1, 89. And 2 into 4, 8. Yes, it gives me 88900. I just have to balance the decimal places properly. This goes 4 times, okay, and 8,000 divided by 2 point something, this is going to be 4,000. So A comes out to be 4,000, and therefore A plus B was 10,000, so B comes out to be 6,000, right? And on this I had to quickly calculate the interest that I'll earn. So the compound interest that I'll earn on the 4,000, the compound interest on 4,000, in year 1 I'll earn 5% of 4,000. Or rather, in period 1, in T1, first 6 months, I'll earn 5% of 4,000. That will be 200. In T2, what happens in the second period of a compound interest? You simply get whatever you earned in the first period, plus you get interest on previous year's interest. So if I add interest on previous year's interest, previous period's interest, 5% of 200 is 10. So I'll get 10 extra, and the total compound interest that I'll get, would be 410 rupees. 200 plus 200 plus 10. Compound interest for the first period and the compound interest for the second period. Well, this is the total CI, and the total SI that I'll earn is simply 12% of 6,000. So 12% of 6,000, that is simply nothing but rupees 720. Hence my answer to the question, I'm sorry for the working spaces mixing up, but the answer to the question would simply be 410 plus 720, and therefore the answer to this question would be 1130, and hence the answer to this question is option D. Well, you would have noticed this was indeed a very lengthy question. You first had to identify the principles by solving an equation which involved such coefficients. Further, after getting the principles, you also had to calculate the compound interest and the simple interest. So it wasn't a question that could not have been solved. It could be solved. It's just that it would at least take 2 to 3 minutes if you were to solve this in the exam. So if you are able to spot easier questions in the paper, you should have solved them first. And if time permits and you have time left after solving all those questions, you should have only then come to this question. So I hope this video has helped you understand better about solving SICI questions and understanding how to choose a question in the paper. All the best in your IPMAT preparation. Do well.